like. Okay, next I'm going to do the piece that goes at the bottom left corner. And that is the piece with the bend and then the corner triangle. So I developed this kit because, well, first of all, I live in Scotland and I'm surrounded by Celtic knotwork pretty much everywhere in my daily life. I mean, just in the shops, even in just the grocery stores, any Scottish products usually have some sort of Celtic art on them. And I love Celtic knotwork. I love symmetry, and Celtic knotwork just really appeals to that love of symmetry. And a couple of years ago, I've really always wanted to take a class from Sarah Shriver on her method for making Celtic knotwork. But although I love living in Scotland, it's not really easy to get to classes. And as far as I know, Sarah has never actually visited Scotland, or taught here anyway, since I've been living here. So a couple years ago, I decided to figure out how to make knotwork for myself. So I got on my computer, because I'm a bit of a computer geek, and I created myself a template for a knot. And when I created that template, I basically used an icon program for making computer icons. And my template was basically a 64 by 64 icon. So it was 64 pixels by 64 pixels. So each one of these elements that I'm making right now were an 8 by 8 pixeled square. And when I printed out the template, it was basically just a bunch of squares making up each element. So I figured that I could make that by extruding 8 by 8 squares. And I did that, which meant that I had to actually extrude 268 squares for the entire 64 by 64 cane. And that first knot actually came out really great. Thought it at the time that it was the coolest thing I had ever made. And I don't have any of that cane left, but I do actually have this necklace that has beads on it that were made from that cane. And if you look at the largest bead, you can actually see how it looks kind of pixelated because of those little square extrusions that were put together to make that knot. So although I thought that was really cool, I'm kind of a instant gratification sort of person. I don't want to extrude clay for an entire day just to make a single small cane. So I've been working over the past couple years to try and simplify the technique. And not that long ago, I was at a friend's house cleaning, and I had a brainstorm. I had just recently purchased my stamp making kit, and I thought, why couldn't I make my templates out of rubber stamps? And not only does it work, but I was able to make my lines straight instead of having lots of little squares to put together. So I don't get the pixelated cane anymore. I just get a fabulous knot. Okay, for this piece with the bend in it, the knot is actually the bent piece and this triangle piece. And the triangle piece is actually part of another piece of the knot. You'll see what I mean when this all gets put together. So first of all, put in that little fiddly piece, and then the long piece in between, and then my triangle, and then my smaller triangle, and then this last piece fits in. So that piece fits there. So now you've got a curve there forming.